Hello everybody, welcome to Oakland Cemetery here in Atlanta, Georgia. This is a very historic cemetery and there's a lot of notable people here, and we're going to go take a look around the cemetery and I'm going to tell you about some of the more famous people laid to rest here. So let's go check it out. Now this place has been around since the 1850s. It is a very historic southern cemetery and it is laid out a lot different than a lot of the cemeteries we visited in the Midwest. Here's a very interesting mausoleum here. Now the first notable name that's laid to rest here, I believe, is just over in this direction. And there are walkways made of brick in here. It is obviously a very old cemetery. This cemetery does label some of their notable names. But as you see, Margaret Mitchell here, she was an author and she wrote one book. And that book was Gone with the Wind. Margaret Mitchell, born 1900 in Atlanta, Georgia, passed away August 16th, 1949, here in Atlanta. And she was actually trying to cross the street and was hit by a cab driver that was driving drunk. But Margaret Mitchell penned the novel that became one of the greatest movies ever made. Here is the Wiley tomb. It's pretty neat with the plants in front of it. Certainly different. And a lot of these do have steps leading up to the tombs and the mausoleums. So, yeah, very different than the Midwest. Here's one. It says on the bottom, "He giveth his beloved sleep." It just says, "My wife." And if you're walking these sidewalks, you have to be a little bit careful. These are obviously pretty old. You could very easily trip and fall. Ellis Venable Mason. And over here, these ones are blocked off. It says the John Floyd Mims plot and railings have been restored in honor of the marriage of Jane Mims Bledsoe to John Stockton Hill. Here's a pretty interesting one over here. Neil. Just over here are two other famous residents here. Let's go find them. I see Kenny. We'll save him for last. This is quite the place to come and visit, and this place is massive. It's right downtown Atlanta. This is unique. Okay, up here, if you are a fan of golf, you will definitely know this name here. Figure out how to get over here. And you will definitely be able to find this because of the offerings left here. But this is golf legend Bobby Jones. You can see a lot of people leave them golf balls. March 17th, 1902 to December 18th, 1971. Bobby Jones, legendary golfer, one of the all-time greats. Okay, the next person that's here, and this is actually the third of three internationally known people, at least. There are a lot of other interesting, like local Atlanta politicians, things like that. Interesting graves, historic graves, but as far as celebrities, the biggest one here would have to be Kenny Rogers, and everybody knows who Kenny Rogers is. Everybody, I mean, I've never met anybody who didn't like him. He dabbled in acting. He was one of the best-selling musical artists of all time. Just a legend, known as the Gambler. And even people that didn't know him for his music, which isn't a lot, they also knew him maybe as the chicken guy, because he also owned and operated Kenny Rogers Roasters. But this is the legendary Kenny Rogers right here. And he has a very unique grave right here. It says on the inside there, "Will the circle be unbroken?" This is unbelievable. Kenny Rogers, just a legend in the music world. And this is one of the fanciest graves here, and I'm sure the most visited. That is amazing. And he is also the closest one to the wall here. So if you ever come to visit, the main entrance is down that way, and then you come down this way, kind of follow the wall down. Bobby Jones is up that way, and Kenny Rogers is right here. Just across from Bobby Jones is Sam Massel. He was vice mayor and president of the Atlanta City Council, Board of Aldermen, and mayor of the city of Atlanta from 1970 to 1974. Just look at some of these old stones here. It's kind of crazy that it's just right in the middle of a major city. Just such a peaceful place too. Here's a much more modern one. Harris. Here's a pretty interesting one up here also. And we're just about ready to head out, but this one stood out to me also. Doherty. That's pretty awesome too. But that's all there is for today's video. I just wanted to give you a little feel for what this cemetery is like and the history here. This place is absolutely massive, and you could spend all day here very easily. But that's all there is to show you for today. I probably will come back again and do a more detailed video, but I did want to show you a couple of the more notable residents. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care, everybody.